Welcome back to the BDTV Breakfast Show. This is the big story. This is where we break down the key issues shaping our economy, our industry, and our nation. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and today we will be taking a look at the recurring tanker explosions and other related accidents in Nigeria. Now, of course, with this conversation, we hope that we'll be able to discuss some of the causes, the effects, and possible solutions to end this menace. Now, Nigeria, which is Africa's most populous nation and sixth largest crude producer in the world, has continued to witness oil tanker explosions and accidents with dire consequences. In many of such accidents recorded across the country in recent months, hundreds of lives and properties estimated at several millions of naira have been lost. Now, this carnage has been attributed to many factors by various stakeholders who also believe that a solution could be found to those recurring disasters on our roads. Now, joining us today to take a look at the possible causes and some of the situations, we will be, speaking with Comrade Peter Esele. Comrade Esele is a well-known labor leader, is a former president of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, as well as a former president of Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. Thank you for joining the show, Comrade.
Thank you for having me.
So let's go straight to the conversation today. In October last year, nearly 200 lives were consumed in a tanker fire in Jigawa State. Now, this January, a similar accident occurred in Nasarawa with about 100 lives lost. And not done, still this month, another tanker accident happened in Enugu State, claiming over 20 lives. Of course, I know this is concerning to you. How much of a concern is this to you?
Well, it is, because what you have is that we've lost life, properties have also been destroyed, and it also have economic impacts. So one of the things that is responsible for all of this is that it's concerning, but I doubt if it's concerning to those in power, because it's the responsibility of the government, both federal, state, and local, to ensure that the safety and welfare of its citizens are protected.
All right. So many people have attributed the recurring tanker accidents to various factors. But from your own point of view, what do you think are the major contributors to these disasters?
The integrity of the trucks. Most of the trucks that are coming into the country, you all know that they majorly they are imported. So now you may be having trucks who have been there in Europe or America for about 20, 30 years, and they are bringing it to Nigeria. So who certify the integrity of that trucks? Another aspect could be rupture. Another aspect could also be a leaking valve. And once you have a weakened tanker, what happens is that once there's a fall, and what you will have an explosion. So what we're having, that's what we are facing. And then who regulates these tankers? Where was it designed? Where is this specification made? And who ensures that these specifications are followed through? So once you have this lacuna in place, what you are going to have is that you're going to have more and more accidents. You can have a falling tanker. There's no doubt about that. But if the integrity of the tanker is there, there's not going to be any spill until you have a rescue that will now lift the tank from the floor. Another aspect is that you just don't wake up in another climb and then you become a tanker driver. No, you go to school. There's a particular training that is also required for you to go through to become a tanker driver. In this climb, anybody can wake up and from motorway driver and you become a truck driver. So nobody also certified that. And then the other aspect is also alcohol. You have a lot of them. They travel for very long hours, no rest. And then when they decide to rest, and then they'll have some champagne or some alcohol by the roadside, and they continue their journey. And when you ask them, why are you taking alcohol? They said, shine your eye. They have a word for it. And so when you put all these factors together, so to say that you are having accidents such as this is something that should not be surprising to us.
It's not something that would be very unlikely. But, let's talk about some of the other disturbing aspects of this accident that we see. We see Nigerians always rushing into scoops, peeled content of falling tankers, and in the process, this ignites fire. Will you say this is driven by poverty or sheer greed or perhaps poor awareness creation?
All of the above. Poverty, greed, awareness. Now, in a society where people are so poor, so they see that as an opportunity for them to scoop petrol and then for them to use. So the most important thing is all what you have enumerated are part of it. But what we should do is, how do you now prevent it? How do you prevent that from happening? And one of the ways that you can prevent that from happening is to make sure that whenever the truck or whenever there's a falling tanker, that there's no spill. If there is no spill, no matter what anybody does, there's just no way that you're going to have accident of such magnitude. If the integrity of the tanker is very, very okay, it can be there for days. No matter what anybody does, you can open it up. So first thing is, poverty is there, greed is there, poor awareness is there, but then let us now take all of that away and ensure that the integrity of the tanks are well protected, and then none of this will be important.
Hmm. I mean, I like that you said that let's make sure that the integrity of the tanks are well protected. But just in case of, for the situations that we are seeing rampant often these days, it's clear that the integrity of these tanks are not, they're not there. So let's talk about, providing awareness. So whose responsibility is it to actually create the needed awareness about this?
Stakeholders in that sector are supposed to create the awareness. Government is supposed to create the awareness. Everybody knows that. I don't even think that we all know that you don't joke, you don't play around petrol. We all know what petrol, the damage petrol can cause. But we'll still keep talking about it. And one of the ways that we can do this is Business Day TV too can also educate people about this. I'm happy that you are bringing this to the fore. And this is also another avenue for us to let people know that it's dangerous for you to go near a falling tanker that is carrying petrol. Not just tanker, even gas. We've had some issues where you have trucks falling, gas trucks, but the integrity of that is highly secured, and we don't have issues such as we have with petrol. So this has to be carried out by stakeholders using the various means of information, both local, state, and the federal government, and the owners of the trucks.
So do you also, are you one of the believers that that subscribe to all tanker movement being restricted to night hours? Do you subscribe to this idea?
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter when you want the trucks to move. Ordinarily, a driver, even the owners of trucks, normally prefer movement by night because there are fewer cars on the road. But they can move whenever they need to move. The first thing is for you to secure the tank. Once the integrity of the tank is secure, there's nothing for you to worry about. It's just like talking about an oil spill. If somebody don't go and puncture the pipelines, you're not going to have a spill. And then if the integrity of the pipeline is maintained, it can be there for 20, 25 years. You're not going to have a spill. So the first thing is to take care of the integrity of the tanks. So then whether they leave by 7 a.m. or they leave by 12 a.m., it's immaterial. But once the truck is, three things that we must take care of is to ensure, one, who is driving the truck? Is he properly trained to be behind the wheel of a truck? That's one. Two, who is checking the mental state of that person? Is the mental state of that person good enough for him to be on the road? Or is he an alcoholic? Then three, the integrity of the truck. This truck, does it meet the specification for it to be on the road? I'll tell you, once you take care of these three, there's nothing for you to worry about when there is movement or no movement. And I'll tell you, you can find, if you go around, probably not Lagos, some part of Lagos, I doubt if you've been Lagos, but in Edo, Delta, I think part of Akwa Ibom, you will see where these trucks are being made by the roadside. The tanks are being produced by the roadside. And you now look at the quality of the steel that is being used for such production. And then who also certify the ones that is coming in from Europe to say, does it also meet this specification? So these are the things that we need to take care of. Once these are sorted out, we don't need to bother ourselves whether the trucks are leaving by 7 a.m. or 3 a.m.
Yes, and I like that all of the points that you've mentioned, but I'm curious to know, are there people that have been held accountable whenever this carnage occurs, or is it just something that happens and everyone cries and then we move on?
Thank you very much. That's a very important question to ask. One of the ways that you can stop actions like this is that you have people pay. When you do the crime, you do the time. If there are companies who are behind this, if there are companies who are not meeting the specifications, if there are companies who goes ahead and put trucks that are not supposed to be on the road, and put a driver that is not qualified to be behind the wheels on the road, that company, if you make them pay for it, I will tell you that this accident or incident will reduce drastically or even get to a level of non-existence. You don't hear of tank explosion in Europe or America. If there's an accident, yes, you say okay, this is an accident. But what you have here is that the integrity of that is not there. So if we go ahead and there is appropriate sanction being meted out to those who are behind all of this, you are going to find out that it will stop. But what we'll do is that you have a governor, this just like what happened recently in Niger, and everybody goes ahead. You send condolence messages, and the families of those who have lost their life, nobody is suing. Nobody even have the financial wherewithal to carry out to do that. Government is not supporting class action. Neither is government imposing anything or suing anybody. So at the end of the day, it is a business as usual. As many as 1,000 can die, and then we all go and issue condolence messages, and 24 hours later, life goes on. And after 30 days, another accident or before, because we had one in December. And in this, you didn't add Ibadan, probably because the life lost in Ibadan were about 2 or 3 lives. So if probably it was 100, we've lost 186, we've lost 100. December was 186. Recently, Niger was over 100. So you can imagine those carnages on our road, and government is doing nothing about it. So until we start making people pay, this cycle is going to continue.
Absolutely. And then you actually mentioned gas as well. So tell us, do we also have gas tanker explosions, and what's responsible for this? Also, how can it be addressed?
We don't have that. It's rarely from what I have read and from what I've learned, that rarely happens. Because what you have is that even those who are behind all of that is that everybody's ensuring that specifications are met, integrity of the tanker is protected, and most of what you have around gas is beyond individual. It's structured. There are movement of gas is structured, unlike what you have in movement of petrol, whereby somebody can wake up and goes to the roadside, design a tank, and then go and get the head of the truck, import it from maybe Belgium or Holland, and then the next day the guy is ready to go. So for gas, it's a little bit more structured and a lot more expensive to get into. So the protocol in gas is far better than what you have in the movement of petrol.
So, Comrade Peter, just before I let you go, I'd like to ask you, what do you think will be the way forward?
The way forward is very clear. First, get better training, the personnel, because personnel is key here. The person behind the wheel, properly trained, mentally stable, not somebody who's going to take alcohol. Then the second one is the integrity of the tank. Has to be maintained. And then proper safety protocol. Proper safety protocol must be in place before you move truck from point A to point B, or before you supply petrol. Once we observe all of this is going to be something over time that will no longer have to sit down, neither will it be big story on business day. But again, I must commend you for bringing this to the attention of Nigerians, and I hope you continue to put in the front burner, because as we say in the labor movement, an injury to one is an injury to all. Nobody is happy about the loss of life.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade. Thank you for your time today. That's as much as we can take, but thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, there you have it. This was a big story on the BDTV Breakfast Show. It's been a great conversation. Continue to stay connected with us as we continue to find solutions to rising explosions in Nigeria. We'll continue to update you on recent developments, but that's all we can take this morning. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Keep watching Business Day TV.